In the silent depths of space, no one expects to hear a sound. But on July the 7th, 2052, every radio telescope on Earth picked up a signal that would change the course of human history. It wasn't the rhythmic pulses of a pulsar or the random noise of a distant galaxy. It was a song, haunting, complex, and undeniably artificial. Dr. Samira Khalil was the first to recognize its true nature. As the lead researcher at the Pan-African Space Agency's Alien Intelligence Division, she had spent her career searching for signs of extraterrestrial life. But nothing had prepared her for this. "It's not just a message," she breathed, her eyes wide as she stared at the cascading data on her holographic display. "It's an invitation." Within hours, the news had spread across the globe. Humanity held its collective breath as linguists and cryptographers worked feverishly to decipher the alien symphony. World leaders convened in emergency sessions, religious figures offered conflicting interpretations, and social media exploded with theories both plausible and wild. But it was Samira and her team who made the breakthrough. Hidden within the harmonics of the cosmic song were coordinates, not to a distant star or planet, but to a location at the edge of our own solar system. "Whatever sent this," Samira announced in a press conference that was watched by billions, "it's practically in our backyard, and I believe it's extending an invitation." The next few months were a whirlwind of activity as humanity scrambled to mount its first interstellar expedition. Traditional rockets wouldn't be fast enough, but a prototype antimatter drive, developed in secret by a coalition of space agencies, offered a solution. A crew was hastily assembled, the best and brightest from every corner of the globe, and at their head, much to her own surprise, was Dr. Samira Khalil. Her unique insights into the alien signal made her the natural choice to lead humanity's first contact mission. As the antimatter-powered ship Prometheus prepared for launch, Samira found herself grappling with the enormity of what lay ahead. Privately, she confided her fears to Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the ship's xenobiologist, and the person who had become her closest confidant during the frantic preparations. "What if we're walking into a trap, Yuki?" she whispered, gazing out at the stars from the ship's observation deck. "What if this is some cosmic horror beyond our comprehension?" Yuki placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Or it could be the greatest discovery in human history. Either way, we're about to find out." The launch was televised worldwide. As Prometheus broke free of Earth's gravity well, accelerating to speeds that defied imagination, humanity held its breath. For the first time, representatives of our species were venturing into the cosmic unknown, carrying the hopes and fears of billions. The journey to the edge of the solar system took weeks instead of years, thanks to the antimatter drive. But for the crew of the Prometheus, it felt like an eternity. They trained, they prepared, and they wondered about what awaited them. As they approached the coordinates, tensions ran high. Long-range scans had detected an object, massive, artificial, and like nothing humanity had ever encountered before. "My God," breathed Commander Chen, the seasoned astronaut at the helm. "It's bigger than the moon." The alien structure defied easy description. It seemed to shift and flow, its surface a kaleidoscope of impossible geometries and colours that hurt the eyes to look at directly, and at its centre was an opening, a maw of utter darkness that beckoned them forward. As Prometheus drew closer, the song that had drawn them across the solar system grew stronger. It resonated through the ship's hull, through the bodies of the crew, speaking to something deep and primal within them. "We're receiving a transmission," reported Dr. Adebayo, the communications specialist. "It's instructions, I think, for docking." Samira felt a moment of vertigo as she gave the order to proceed. This was it, the moment that would define not just her life, but the future of her entire species. As Prometheus was gently drawn into the maw of the alien megastructure, the crew waited in breathless anticipation. What wonders or horrors awaited them? What strange intelligences would they encounter? But the docking bay they found themselves in was empty, sterile, alien, yet hauntingly familiar. "Atmosphere is breathable," Yuki announced, checking her instruments. "Gravity is Earth normal. It's almost as if it was made for us," Samira finished, a chill running down her spine. Donning protective suits as a precaution, Samira led the first expedition into the alien structure. The corridors seemed to stretch on forever, branching and twisting in ways that defied Euclidean geometry. At first, they found only empty rooms and inscrutable machinery, but as they ventured deeper, they began to encounter echoes, fleeting images and sounds that vanished when looked at directly. A child's laughter, the roar of a long-extinct animal, snatches of conversation in languages both familiar and utterly alien. "It's like the history of 1,000 worlds," breathed Dr. Yuki, her eyes wide with wonder. "All overlapping, all connected." But it was only when they reached the central chamber that the true nature of their discovery became clear. There, suspended in a field of coruscating energy, was a sphere of utter darkness, a miniature black hole, barely the size of a marble, and orbiting around it in intricate, ever-shifting patterns were motes of light, billions upon billions of them, each pulsing with its own unique rhythm. Samira felt understanding wash over her like a wave. "It's a library," she whispered. "No, it's a sanctuary." Over the next few weeks, as the crew of Prometheus explored further and began to decipher the alien technology, the truth emerged. The structure, which they came to call the Nexus, was indeed a library, but on a scale beyond human imagining. Each mote of light was the preserved consciousness of an entire species, saved at the moment of their extinction. The Nexus, they learned, had been created eons ago by one of the first spacefaring civilizations in the galaxy. As they explored the cosmos, they encountered the ruins and remnants of countless dead worlds, species that had risen, flourished, and been extinguished by natural disasters, cosmic calamities, or their own folly. Determined that no sapient mind should be lost forever to the void, they created the Nexus as a repository of consciousness. When a species faced extinction, the Nexus would activate, sending out its song across the stars. Those who heeded the call could choose to have the sum total of their knowledge, their history, and their very essence preserved within its quantum memory. But the Nexus was more than just a cosmic archive. It was a seed bank of sapience, preserving the potential for life and thought against the entropic death of the universe itself. And now, humanity had been called upon to become its caretakers. As the implications of their discovery sank in, the crew of Prometheus found themselves grappling with questions that shook them to their core. Why had humanity been chosen for this monumental task? Were they worthy of such a responsibility? And what did it mean for the future of their own species? Samira, as the mission leader, felt the weight of these questions more heavily than most. She spent long hours communing with the Nexus, allowing its vast repository of knowledge to flow through her mind. The experiences were overwhelming, sometimes terrifying, but always awe-inspiring. She walked the crystal cities of long-dead worlds, flew through the rings of gas giants with beings of pure energy, and shared the hive-mind consciousness of planet-spanning fungal networks. She witnessed the birth and death of stars, the collision of galaxies, and the patient thoughts of intelligences that lived on scales of billions of years. But with each revelation came new ethical dilemmas. The power contained within the Nexus was beyond imagining. With it, humanity could cure every disease, solve the energy crisis, and unlock the deepest secrets of the universe. But would that shortcut the natural course of human development? And what of the beings preserved within? Did humanity have the right to access their knowledge without consent? As the weeks stretched into months, the crew of Prometheus found themselves changed by their experiences. Dr. Yuki Tanaka made breakthrough after breakthrough in xenobiology, her understanding of life's potential expanding beyond anything taught in Earth's universities. Commander Chen, the pragmatic astronaut, found himself grappling with philosophical questions that had never before troubled his ordered mind. And Samira felt herself becoming something more than human. The knowledge of 1,000,000 civilizations burned within her mind, threatening to overwhelm her sense of self. In her dreams, she heard the whispers of long-dead species, urging her toward a destiny she could barely comprehend. As the antimatter fuel for their return journey dwindled, the crew faced a difficult choice. They could return to Earth with news of their discovery, allowing humanity as a whole to decide the fate of the Nexus. Or they could remain as its guardians, dedicating their lives to unlocking its secrets and preparing humanity for its new role in the cosmos. The debate raged for days, each member of the crew arguing passionately for their vision of the future. But in the end, it was Samira's impassioned plea that swayed them. "We've been given a gift beyond price," she said, her eyes alight with the knowledge of eons. "But it's also a test. The Nexus isn't just a repository of the past, it's a seed for the future. Every species preserved here faced challenges like our own. Some overcame them. Many didn't. Their successes, their failures, their hopes and dreams, all of it is here for us to learn from." She paused, looking each of her fellow crew members in the eye. "I believe we were chosen because humanity stands at a crossroads. We have the potential for greatness, but also for terrible destruction. The Nexus is offering us a chance to learn from the collected wisdom of the cosmos. We can't squander this opportunity." In the end, the decision was made. A small team, led by Commander Chen, would return to Earth with news of the discovery, but the majority of the crew, including Samira and Yuki, would remain behind as the first human caretakers of the Nexus. As the remnant of Prometheus broke orbit, carrying its world-changing message back to Earth, Samira stood in the central chamber of the Nexus. The whisper of long-dead stars sang in her mind as she gazed at the swirling motes of light, each one a window into a universe of experience and knowledge. She felt a presence beside her and turned to see Yuki, her eyes reflecting the ethereal glow of the quantum memory core. "What now?" Yuki asked softly. Samira smiled, feeling the weight of cosmic history and the potential of an infinite future. "Now," she said, "we learn, we grow, and we prepare humanity for its place among the stars." As if in response, the song of the Nexus swelled around them, a chorus of countless voices, a symphony of sapience echoing across the vastness of space and time. And in that moment, on the edge of human understanding, a new chapter in the story of cosmic life began. In the years that followed, the Nexus became a source of both wonder and controversy for humanity. As news of the discovery spread, Earth was plunged into a period of upheaval. Religious doctrines were shaken, scientific paradigms were shattered, and the very nature of human identity was called into question. Some feared the alien influence, calling for the Nexus to be sealed away or destroyed. Others saw it as a panacea for all of humanity's ills and demanded immediate, unrestricted access to its knowledge. But Samira and her team stood as guardians and interpreters, carefully curating the flow of information back to Earth. They understood that humanity wasn't ready for all the Nexus had to offer, that too much, too quickly, could be as destructive as it was enlightening. Instead, they focused on the most pressing issues facing their home planet, sustainable energy solutions drawn from the experiences of 1,000 worlds, medical breakthroughs inspired by the biology of long-extinct species, philosophical insights that reshaped human understanding of consciousness and morality. As the decades passed, humanity began to change. The influence of the Nexus sparked a renaissance in science, art, and spiritual understanding. For the first time in its history, the species began to truly unite, working together to solve global problems and reach for the stars. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. The power offered by the Nexus attracted those who would use it for their own gain. Samira and her successors found themselves not just scientists and explorers, but diplomats and sometimes warriors, defending the sanctity of the Nexus against those who would exploit it. Through it all, the Song of the Stars continued, and humanity, slowly but surely, began to add its own voice to the cosmic chorus. A century after the discovery of the Nexus, as the first human colonies took root on Mars and in the moons of Jupiter, Samira stood once again in its central chamber. Her hair had long since turned white, her face lined with age and wisdom, but her eyes still burned with the same curiosity and wonder that had driven her all those years ago. Beside her stood her granddaughter, Adira, born on Earth but raised in the shadow of the Nexus. In her, Samira saw the future of humanity, a bridge between worlds, heir to the wisdom of the cosmos, but still uniquely, beautifully human. "Are we ready?" Adira asked, her voice hushed with anticipation. Samira nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. After decades of preparation, humanity had finally been deemed worthy of the Nexus's greatest gift. The ability to add their own essence to its quantum core, to take their place among the preserved civilizations of the galaxy. As the process began, Samira felt the experiences of her long life flow through her consciousness, the triumphs and failures, the loves and losses, the great leaps forward and the stumbling steps back. All of it, the entire history of humanity's first steps into a larger universe, preserved for eternity. In that moment, as human consciousness merged with the vast repository of the Nexus, Samira understood that this was not an ending, but a beginning. Humanity would continue to grow, to explore, to face new challenges among the stars. But now they carried with them the wisdom of countless civilizations, a cosmic legacy that would shape their destiny in ways yet unimagined. As the Song of the Nexus swelled to a crescendo, embracing this new voice in its eternal chorus, Samira felt a profound sense of peace. Whatever the future held, humanity was no longer alone in the vast, star-studded darkness. They were part of something greater, a story of life, consciousness and wonder that spanned the cosmos and echoed through eternity. And in the depths of space, unimaginably distant from the tiny blue planet where it had all begun, the whisper of stars continued its endless song.